Purina is one of the most controversial dog foods of all time. It's loved and hated in equal measure by the general public. Some vets actually love it, some vets actually hate it. But hey, in this video we are going to settle the debate. Is Purina good or bad? And at the end of the video, I will give you my verdict, so stay tuned until the end. Hi, I'm Sam. I'm a dog and cat nutritionist and proud owner of a chain of independent pet shops that focuses on nutrition. Now, what are the arguments for Purina? Why is Purina good and why you should give them a chance? Well, as they say on their website, they have a 500 strong global team of Purina nutritionists, scientists, vets and animal behaviorists, and they are on a mission to raise the bar for pet nutrition. So they have an absolute army of different people whose only job is to make sure the right things go into the food. The Purina Institute partners with hundreds of the world's most respected animal scientists, nutritionists and thought leaders. They have access to a worldwide network of resources to help share groundbreaking science, and they have been doing so for decades. Additionally, Purina R&D holds more than 100 global partnerships with external institutions, allowing them to collaborate and partner with world leaders in veterinary nutrition and other scientific fields. Purina products are sold and recommended everywhere in the world, and there are very few companies who could say the same. Few companies have the same reach as Purina does. They also partner with the World Small Animal Veterinary Association. The Purina Institute is proud to be the first diamond partner of this association, and it's a relationship reflective of their shared goals. Founded in 1961, so they go back a very long time. It's an association that represents 200,000 vets and 112 members associations globally. They also support some key clinical committees and initiatives: the Global Nutrition Committee, Animal Wellness and Welfare Committee, Hereditary Disease Committee and One Health Committee. And they also have partnerships with the American College of Veterinary Internal Medicine. Now, what they say is that they believe that nutrition starts with understanding nutrients, not just ingredients, and I am going to go back to that point later. The best ingredients are the ones that work with others to enhance one another's performance. A smarter nutrient blend is going to be more digestible and effective for a pet than a single ingredient. That's why we don't formulate our pet food on an ingredient by ingredient basis, but instead measure how different formulations affect a pet's overall health. They have 6 core tenets. They want to innovate pet nutrition and source ingredients through regenerative practices, promote pet adoption by leveraging partnerships. They want to promote responsible pet ownership programs, foster people's health through the power of pet-human bond, work towards a waste-free future, advance regeneration of soil and ocean ecosystems. And this is the case for Purina, folks. They have an army of nutritionists and scientists and vets, and they have a worldwide net of influence. They partner with all sorts of people, all sorts of vets. They are deeply entrenched in the pet food industry. They work with so many trade associations and they are deeply entrenched in everything. Well, it has to be said that this is my opinion, but there is an argument that corporatization and influence in the pet food industry and sponsoring trade bodies and being involved in everything in exchange for money does make the whole thing a bit questionable. If I am going to sponsor something, if I go and sponsor a trade association or I give something in exchange for something, there is an argument that the interest of that body that I am partnering with need to be aligned with my interests, aka you scratch my back, I scratch yours, and that is not something that I like very much. The second thing that I don't like very much, and this is the only thing I care about, is the actual quality of the food, and in my opinion the quality of the food is not very good. And we are here going to take a look at two of the most important pet foods they use. One in the US, one is in the UK. The one in the US contains chicken, rice, whole grain wheat, poultry byproduct meal, corn gluten meal, whole grain corn, etc, etc. In the UK, it contains maize starch, sugar, rapeseed oil, and hydrolyzed soya protein. By the way, hydrolysis is whenever you break down molecules with water so that the body absorbs them better. But that, in my opinion, is yet another chemical engineering process with regards to ingredients and nutrients. And by the way, if you are curious about dog nutrition, I want to feed your dog better, I highly encourage you to download our free How to Feed Your Dog Better. The link will be down in the description. How to Feed Your Dog Better. So let's get into the ingredients and let's get into the nutrients, as they say. So wheat, corn or maize, they all have a very low leucine amount, which is an essential amino acid, which is one of the 3 essential amino acids actually. So you have to put a lot of these ingredients in order for the dog to absorb the necessary protein, which is one of the most important macronutrients. And this moves me on to protein. Vegetables or grains or things like wheat, for example, have a much lower leucine amount, and that's why we like animal protein, because absorption levels are much higher and amino acids are much more readily available. That's why whenever we look at these formulations, we don't like the amount of protein, the overall animal protein they include in the bags. We think the amount of protein you need to be paying for needs to be a lot higher, and that protein needs to come from animal sources, not from soya, not from pea protein, not from corn protein meal, and all of these ingredients that they seem to want to put instead of chicken, turkey, fresh lamb, raw beef, and these sorts of things. And the argument would be, well, can my dog not eat too much protein? Won't that be too rich? Well, actually, in people, like in dogs, the body does not have a system to store protein. You either consume it and absorb it, or you secrete it through the kidneys, oxidizing the protein. Now, protein has a much higher thermic effect than carbohydrates and fats. That's why it's so important that you feed good quality animal proteins to your dog. Protein is also essential for muscle protein synthesis, so for your dog to have healthy muscles. Aside from that, there is also the biology argument, and I want to draw your attention to your dog's teeth and how your dog's mouth works. If you think about it, me and you can chew food. Your dog cannot. This would be a very clear indication that you need to feed your dog more meat than anything else. And then anything they wouldn't naturally be able to chew, you should stay away. So if you look at your dog's mouth, they have very sharp incisors, canines, and those are designed to rip flesh apart. They also have canine teeth, back teeth, which are meant to crush organ meats and bone. And so if you think about it, your dog's mouth would never be very well equipped to digesting or eating grain, soy, peas, rice, wheat, corn, all these ingredients, let alone sugar. I mean, we haven't even touched on sugar, but the fact that they put sugar in pet food, that in my opinion is a hell no argument. I do not want any artificial sugar or sugar derivatives going into my pet's food. And here in the UK and in the US as well, some of these companies add sugar or sugar derivatives in pet food to make it more palatable, not because it's better for your dog, and this is all my opinion. If you like giving your dog sugar, That's your prerogative. There is also the argument whenever it comes to our dogs that whenever me and you eat rice or wheat or whatever, we can start breaking it down in the mouth because we have an enzyme called amylase, which is the enzyme that breaks down starches in the mouth. Now, dogs don't have it, so anytime you feed your dog a cereal-based food or a corn-based food like the ones Purina makes and manufactures, they cannot start breaking them down in the mouth because they don't have the right enzymes to do so. Now, it is true that they can digest some carbohydrates, but the argument is that they have the biology in the short stomach tracts, the stomach acidity, the canines, and all these are very clear indicators that your dog is more carnivorous than anything else. So the fact that they can break down some carbohydrates doesn't mean you should feed your dogs a carb-heavy diet day in and day out for weeks and months on end. And yes, there will always be people or dogs who are okay on whatever food they are fed, and that is less and less common these days. But in my opinion, that's not a good argument for loading our dogs' diets with carbohydrates and with starches, especially with these refined carbohydrates. These are highly refined carbohydrates. So what is my verdict? Well, I have been doing this for a very long time, for many years now, and I have been through our consultations in store and online that the most common sources of allergies or allergens tend to be the ones that are in these sort of foods: wheat, barley, corn, soy, sugar or sugar derivatives. These tend to be the most common allergens and the most common culprits whenever it comes to dog health and nutrition. And so we don't like them. We don't recommend them. We do not sell them or recommend them out of principle. We could tell people to, hey, you feed Purina and it's very well respected and it's wonderful and it's great and this, that, the other, and yeah, your dog is going to be fine. We have chosen not to recommend them. We have chosen not to sell them, and we could potentially make a lot more money selling these products and selling Purina products. However, we choose not to, and I think that is a very clear stance of ours that could be right or wrong, but in our opinion and experience, it has helped us very, very much because it has helped thousands and thousands of dogs and cats who have already taken the advice that we provide and how we do things, and they like what we say and how we do things, and they have seen a material impact in their dogs or cats' life through our recommendations and what we explain with regards to diabetes, pancreatitis, chronic kidney disease, diabetes, etc, etc. Now, the one thing I do love about Purina is the Purina Institute, and by those who are new to the channel, I am a dog and cat nutritionist, and I am not a dog and cat nutritionist that has just been indoctrinated or has just read one type of literature. I read absolutely everything, and the Purina Institute is a great resource, and it's packed with so much valuable information, and it's arguably one of the gold standards in the industry, and I highly encourage you to read it because they do make some really good points, and in a lot of cases they will actually contradict a lot of veterinary advice. So that's something I really do like about them. Now, the argument between ingredients and nutrients is a bit of an oxymoron in my opinion, because any nutrients are going to come from good quality ingredients. If you disagree with the ingredients in the first place, the nutrients you render from the ingredients are going to be composed in different ways. As we said with essential amino acids such as leucine, that argument can be made for many other subpar ingredients that then do not get into the right nutrients in your dog's body, and they then have to be put synthetically in the food for your dog to be able to have those nutrients. And the only way I have come to actually explain this is through baby food and through some of these baby biscuits. As you can see, these baby biscuits here, it says that it contains vitamins, mineral, iron and calcium. So anytime you look at these biscuits for a baby, you will be confronted with a very cute polar bear here and all the nutrients and minerals that your baby is going to need and is going to enjoy, which is in theory very, very good. But I would never stop here whenever it comes to baby food. I would always check the back of the packet, and here you will see a lot of the same ingredients that are in these foods. We have wheat flour, we have wheat starch, and we have sugar and palm oil. Sugar and palm oil, in my opinion, aren't very good for a baby, and so I don't really care what the manufacturer says here about the nutrients and the minerals and the iron and the calcium and all the vitamins, etc, etc. What I care are the ingredients that I am giving a baby, and if the baby is getting sugar and palm oil, I am going to be a lot less likely to trust any manufacturer whenever it comes to the front of a bag of whatever. I am always going to check the ingredients, because that's the only way I would want to check whether a food is suitable for a baby or not, or whether I want to give that food to a baby or not. The ingredients are what matters when it comes to nutrition, nutrients, vitamins, minerals, etc, etc.